Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayane Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamrutavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatvamanusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshinim. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyaistavaihi Vedai Sangapatakramopanishadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantam na vidusura suraganaha devaya tasmai namaha. So shall we read the verse I am reading? You repeat after me. Uttaredatmanatmanam Natmanam avasadayet Atmaiva hyatmano bandhuhu Atmaiva ripuratmanah. So here, as we saw yesterday, Lord Krishna has thrown us on our own lap. You have to help yourself. You have to rescue yourself. And as we discussed yesterday, ignorance is already there in our lives, and we have to lift ourselves from the ignorance and the effects of ignorance which permeate our life. Yesterday we discussed, to just recap, that we must first of all question, since we are seeking helplessly. Because of ignorance, the sense of inadequacy is always there. And that always makes us seek happiness, peace, contentment. And then the Viveka Buddhi, the intellect, the discerning capacity is also given. With that, we analyze our experiences, examine our life, and ask as to what am I gaining? I'm running after things, getting certain things also. And still, the vacuum within doesn't seem to go. Am I fated to be like this forever? Am I going to be a seeker forever? What is the solution for this? When questions like these, when they trouble my mind, then there is a prayer from within, and there are questions. There is a need to get out of this. And then, as I said, we can always approach someone. Either we may be reading some literature, our parents are there in India and in our culture, some satsang, some kind of satsang is always available. From there we get some glimpses, some insights as to who can really answer these kind of questions. And then we approach a teacher. And then, so all this is part of lifting up. All this is nothing but lifting up gradually. And then, when I come across a teacher, when I find a teacher, just as Arjuna found, Naradji found, Nachiketa found, it comes in everybody's life. Teacher appears in everybody's life. And when we approach, and then we come to know. If that teacher is well versed in the knowledge, is also Shrotriya, then comes the big revelation in life. He teaches us, just as Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, Ashocyan anvashochastvam. There is absolutely no reason to grieve. Your grief is totally illegitimate. There is no reason to grieve. Why? Keeping in mind the nature of the self, keeping in mind the reality. When you look at from that standpoint, your grief is totally misplaced. Your grief has no reason to be there. And then he expounds, then he unfolds the nature of the self. And then the Shastra has only one thing to teach. There may be many Upanishads. So many Upanishads are there. Brahma Sutras and Bhagavad Gita and so many Prakarana Granthas, everything is there. But the primary purport, the primary theme of all the Upanishads and our Shastra is nothing but this, that you are what you are seeking. Tattvamasi is the Mahavakya. Of course, in different Upanishads, there are different Vakyas, but the meaning is the same. This Tattvamasi, this Mahavakya. Mahavakya means it is a big equation. It says that you are that. This appears in Chandogya Upanishad. This Mahavakya, Tattvamasi, appears in Chandogya Upanishad. Chandogya Upanishad is found in Samaveda. And there, this is a dialogue between Shvetaketu and his father, Uddalaka. And Uddalaka says to Shvetaketu that you are that. What is that? That is Jagat Karanam. The Jagat Karanam, the cause of the creation. The cause of the creation from which this entire creation has manifested, that you are. This is a big teaching. This is the teaching. That you are that. It may be difficult for us to accept this, to swallow this at once, but it is a fact. See, ignorance makes us think. See, there is no meeting point between the standpoint of ignorance and that of knowledge. In ignorance, what do I think of myself? I am small, limited to this body, confined to this. My scope is very, very, very limited. I am helpless individual. And here the teacher comes along and says that you are everything. In fact, you are that. That means Jagat Karanam. You are Ishvara, from whom the creation has come. In Chandogya, Sat, existence is shown as the cause of the creation. Sadeva Somya Idam Agre Asid. There it comes like that. That before this there was nothing but Sat. And then from Sat, that is existence, all this has come about. And then at the end, Sage Uddalaka tells his son that you are that. Tattvamasi Shvetaketu. O Shvetaketu, you are that Jagat Karanam. That means I'm no more this, I was never this individual. But ignorance concealed this very, very important fact about me. And this is everywhere. You are what you. It is an existent fact. Not that it will happen sometime in future. I will do some sadhana, bring about a change in me, and then I will become that. No. The sentence, the Vakya says that you are that here and now. Even though we cannot believe this, it is because we are in the grips of the sense of ego. Because we are totally blinded by the sense of ego, the I sense. Today, our I sense is placed in this body. I is I. But today that I is identified with this body, with just a body, given body. And that is why I think I'm only this much. But body has nothing to do with I. So, when the teacher systematically, there is a method of unfolding this Vakya. Then one has to understand this, one has to study this, one has to learn this. And then one comes to know, it's a big thing, that you are everything. Plus other dimensions of the knowledge are also shown. All this is Uddhara is happening. If we understand this very well, in fact, let me tell you this, Tattvamasi can be the final Uddhara. That is the climax. Nothing more is required further. Once you know that I am everything, I am not just this body, then the real and the final Uddhara has happened. But still I have to assimilate this. I've heard this all right, but still assimilation has not taken place. My mind, even today, even when we are listening to this, it is not ready to accept that how can I be this? Because with I, this body, mind, intellect complex and all its layers, there is a very, very strong identification. And the samskaras of that, vasanas of that are deeply ingrained in my mind. But Ramana Maharshi ji says, ahamayam kuto bhavati chinvatah. When I begin to think, of course, in the line of the Shruti, in the line of the teachings, when I begin to think the way teacher is thinking, and that is why Shravanam is very important. Shravanam, that is when you are listening to the teacher, at the time of Shravanam, the Tatparya Vichara happens. The Tatparya Vichara means what is the central theme of the scriptures and how does it relate to me? What does the Vakya of the Shruti mean to me and to my life? So when the teacher is teaching all this, I begin to think in this manner. So when I carry forward this Shravanam and Mananam, means reflection on these lines, then a time comes. And of course, again, with all this, Nididhyasanam also has to take place. That is what Yajnavalkya ji, the sage Yajnavalkya told his wife. When his wife is there as a student before him, you must be knowing this, that once Yajnavalkya, the big sage, the main sage in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, he declared, he had 2 wives, and he declared before them that now I am ready to take sannyas. I am going. I am ready to renounce. And whatever I have, that I would like to distribute between the 2 of you. The name of one of his wives was Katyayani, and the other one is Maitreyi. So Katyayani was happy to take her share and she departed. Maitreyi is little intelligent. She is very intelligent, not little. So she asks him, what will I do with the wealth that you are giving me? Katham tena aham amrutasyamiti. She asks, will I become immortal? See her intelligence. She says, will I become immortal with the share, with the wealth that you are giving me? Yajnavalkya he was astonished. And he says, no. You will not become immortal with this. No way. But you will definitely be able to live comfortably with the wealth that is there in your share. She says, if it is not going to give me immortality, what will I do with this? I have no use of it. You had it and you are giving it, you are walking away and giving this to us, which is not capable of giving me immortality, limitlessness. What will I do with it? I don't want it. Give me what you have. She is very smart. She says, as a wife, he is still there. So she says, I demand of you what you have, which makes you give up all this and go and depart. So give me the knowledge which you have. And he had to give. Very lovingly, he was very pleased with her. He says, sit down. And then, because the question was that will I get immortality by this? So he said, no. He said, amrutatvasya na shasti vittena. This was his answer. Amrutatvasya na shasti vittena. Oh my dear, amrutatvam, immortality, can never be gained by vitta. Vitta means wealth. Wealth is representative of everything, not just wealth. Power, position, status, connections, relationship, everything. So vitta stands for that. All that the world can give cannot give you amrutatvam. The entire creation cannot give you that. And how will that be gained? He said, see, for that you have to listen about the self. Then he said a very big thing. He said that to just draw her attention to the self. He said this, that nava are patyuhu kamaya patihi priyo bhavati. He said, oh Maitreyi, do not think that the wife, see, this is something which we have to understand. He said that Maitreyi, do not think that that wife loves the husband for the sake of husband. No. Atmanastu kamaya patihi priyo bhavati. If the wife loves the husband, it is not for the sake of the husband, but atmanastu kamaya patihi priyo bhavati. Because she loves the self and because the husband is conducive in making her love herself, that she loves the husband. Understand this. That is not confined, oh Swamini, just for the wife. No, for husband also. He said the same thing for everything. Do not think that the husband loves the wife for the sake of the wife, but what? Atmanastu kamaya sarva. Because he loves himself, see others like us. We are a little bit digressing. But when others like us, they love us, don't think it is for us. It is for their own selves. And we help them in loving themselves. Because I am conducive to you, I am favorable to you, and you love yourself. And my behavior helps you in loving yourself. That is why you like me. Supposing I am totally, I speak certain things, I behave in a certain manner, then you are not going to like me. So we all, what Yajnavalkya, then he made a big list of everything. The theme behind all this was to tell her that ultimate love affair, first and last love affair is with what? with the self. With the self. So indirectly, he's telling her that what everybody is seeking is nothing but the pleased, lovable self. But we do not know how to do it. We all are doing it. Everybody is doing it. But we don't know how to, in indirect way, for touching this ear, I do it the other way. I can directly catch this ear, but I don't do it this way, but the other way. Similarly, we all are seeking happiness. Self-love is there behind everything, but we don't know how to, what is the method of that? And then he said this, for knowing that, why is Atma so lovable? So you should know it. Then what is the means of knowing that? Then he said, Atma va are drashtavyah, shrotavyah, mantavyah, nididhyasitavyah. He said, you should know the self. That is the ultimate uddhara. That is the ultimate uplifting of oneself. But how do we do that? By shrotavyah, by listening. And listening from a teacher. Go to a teacher, sit at his feet and learn. And then mananam, reflect on that. Along with all this, nididhyasanam also. Nididhyasanam means I have heard all right, but still the habitual errors of identifying with ahankara, with intellect, with the mind, all of that is there. And I keep on identifying with them. Habit dies hard. So habitual errors are there. So I sit back with myself. And one by one erase and remove all the habitual errors. Give quality time to myself. So these are the means of knowing the self. Shravanam, mananam, nididhyasanam. So this is how, by going to the teacher, you come to know about the self. But still, one has to know, self means what? It is, there are so many things. Today I have superimposed so many misconceptions upon the self. That it is karta, it is a doer, I am a doer, I am an enjoyer, thinker, walker, talker. That means I look upon the self as performing action. So kartrutva, doership, is something that is joined with the self. In reality, it is the prakriti, it is the matter where all action is. Prakrutehe gunaihi kriyamani sarvashah karmani. All the actions are performed by prakriti. And out of ignorance, we think that I am doing. I am performing. When I say I am doing, that was the very big problem with Arjuna. He thought that I will be the killer of my near and dear ones. And they will get killed. Which means that Atma will be killing. At the same time, Atma will get killed. So the doership, as well as being the object of action. He took Atma as being the doer, as well as something happening upon the Atma, being the object of some action. Both these are nothing but false notions. These are nothing but misconceptions regarding the self, because action belongs in the matter, prakriti, and Atma is absolutely free from any kind of action. Absolutely free. But teacher definitely teaches all this, but it is difficult to understand. It is not that easy to understand all this. At the same time, difficult to retain. It is difficult to grasp this. At the same time, difficult to retain this. That is why comes another step. We are talking of lifting. There's different stages of lifting. That is why, along with the knowledge of the scriptures, in the knowledge itself, there is another aspect. And what is that? Yoga Shastra. Jnana Kanda teaches all this. In Vedas you find the Karma Kanda and the Jnana Kanda. In Bhagavad Gita too, there is Jnana Yoga, where Lord Krishna teaches about the self. But along with this, he also taught Arjuna Yoga Shastra. That is why Bhagavad Gita has both. It has Brahma Vidya too, plus Yoga Shastra. It is a package, complete manual. Just Brahma Vidya will not work. You tell everything. But if we don't have the preparedness, any knowledge requires preparedness, fitness of the mind. The instrument where the knowledge is taking place also has to be prepared, also has to be fit, and fit enough to take this knowledge. And so, what is an important step along with this knowledge? Tattvamasi is enough, but still, we are still not ready to imbibe this knowledge that I am everything. We are not ready. So an important step is called for, and that is what? Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga means preparing the mind. Without that, knowledge cannot happen. Without that, knowledge cannot happen. See, Arjuna wanted to renounce. It was his, he kept on saying to Lord Krishna that I just want to withdraw from the battle and go away. Not for a second, Lord Krishna grant that. He said no. And we find this verse that Sannyasastu Mahabaho Dukkham Aptum Ayogatah. Oh Arjuna, you think that sannyasa is very easy. But sannyasa without yoga, sannyasa without a life of yoga will be very, very difficult. Dukkham, it will become nothing but a cause of sorrow. It is not easy to live that life because the mind is not ready. When that maturity is not there, when the mind is still not subtle enough, big enough, pure enough to understand this, to imbibe this, and if the renunciation has taken place, then you will be a misfit. Then you will be a misfit. Why? Because now you have closed one door and entered another where you are not fit. You are not ready for that life. And that is why Karma Yoga is an indispensable step before entering the portals of knowledge. Yes, knowledge is already given. Nobody can stop you from that. Lord Krishna also gave the knowledge to Arjuna. But when the knowledge is given, still practice that knowledge in life. Karma Yoga is nothing but practicing that knowledge in life. Make it a reality when you are still in life. You are told that you are everything. You are full and complete. But do I feel that way? You are Brahman. You are that, Ishvara. I don't feel like that. I don't feel that I am full. I don't feel that I am everything. And that is why, this teaching sometimes remains just words. Big words. It remains words only. It is merely theory. So, Lord Krishna is very practical. He said no. Karmani eva te adhikaraha. Your right is in action, which means you have to first work. And work now with a shift of attitude. Now a paradigm shift has to come. Earlier, your perception, your understanding was that I am confined to this body. At the most, I and my people, that is my world. My world is limited to I and mine. That was my earlier perception, earlier understanding, born out of ignorance. But now a different understanding and knowledge is given. And what is that? Who is I now? What is the, who is this I now? Once you come to the teacher, what is that I now? No more an individual. Yes, we continue to remain what, the look remains the same. But I, now we know the I here, the Chaitanya, the existence, which is here is there, everywhere. Everywhere the Chaitanya is one. There is boundary for the body. The boundary for my body is this, for you that, for this thing this. But what is the boundary for awareness? What is the boundary? There is distance between me, this body, and this. There is a distance. Between me and this object, there is a distance. But what is the distance between asti, bhati, priyam? Here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here. Tell me, what is the distance? This is also asti, bhati. Asti, bhati means existence, consciousness, ananda. This is also consciousness, existence, ananda, plus name and form. This is also asti, bhati, priyam, plus name and form. Everywhere asti, bhati, priyam is there, and name and forms are there. Asti, name and form are different everywhere. But what is common? What is the common denominator everywhere? Asti, bhati, priyam. And asti, bhati, priyam are not three things. Not three. Asti is different from bhati, and bhati different from priyam. No. Asti means existence. Existence is consciousness. And what is existence and consciousness is ananda. It is one thing. It is one. And that is what it is, nothing but asti, bhati, priyam. Now to hear about this is one thing. To Shravanam is one thing. But to imbibe this and live this, to appreciate this is another. Is another. And that won't happen on its own. For that, we will have to make it a reality. And where shall we make it a reality? Just by thinking doesn't have, oh, I'm everywhere. I'm everywhere. But when you start talking to me and then you say something, then I will get angry. Again, the old habits will come. My attachment with this body, with this ego, is hard to go. It is not easy by any chance. Understand this very well. Therefore, Lord Krishna says, live that life. Karma Yoga is nothing but bringing into practice the knowledge. What knowledge? I am Brahman. Tattvamasi. The entire creation is nothing but Ishvara. What is Ishvara. Live that life. Live that life. So, Karma Yoga is sannyasa in practice. Sannyasa or knowledge in practice, in day-to-day life. And let me tell you, it is then that our mind will undergo a change. Until that real uddhara doesn't happen. Today our minds, because of we are not condemning the mind. It is what it is. We have not paid attention to that. We have even validated certain things, certain tendencies. We have validated. But now we want to change. That is the part of lifting up. Uddhara. Uddhared atmana atmanam. May you rescue, may you uplift yourself by yourself. At the base of this is Karma Yoga. See, all the teaching, all the values and Karma Yoga, everything is based upon this Tattvamasi. Knowledge is there, but then how to make it a reality? how to make my mind big enough for this. Due to ignorance, so many ragas and dveshas, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, all this is there. Selfishness is there. Because I thought that I have to work more for myself. I have to defend myself. I have to work for my secure in everything. So far that was the thinking. And now I come to know all of a sudden that I am everything. My mind is not ready for this. So now I live this life and monitor my mind. Now for this what should I do? Lord Krishna says, the life that you are living is good enough. There itself, in whichever life you have, wherever you are, live a life of karma yoga. Karma yoga means through karma, and karma is there in our lives. From morning to evening, karma pervades our life. Make this karma a means to join with the reality. Karma yoga. Yoga means to join. How do I join with this knowledge? With Ishvara, how do I join? Then I make each and every of my karma a means, an opportunity to join with the reality. How do I do that? So now wherever I am, I have duties. I have roles to play. I am mother, wife, sister-in-law, mother-in-law, plus at workplace, I am boss, whatever I am. So many roles I am playing at a time. Play all the roles very well. But now, what will be my attitude? Now I work from the platform of what? I am everything. I am full. I am complete. I keep this in mind and now I work. So there is a shift from demanding to giving. From being selfish, now I become what? Selfless. As Swamiji said in the morning, transformation of life from being a consumer to being a contributor. That cannot happen unless I am rich. Only rich can give. If I am a beggar, I myself need it. I cannot give. But Shastra tells me that you are already rich. You are everything. You are full. You are complete. You may not believe this today, but have Shraddha. Shastrasya Guru Vakyasya Shraddha. Have faith in this. And perform from that platform. So now I take my roles as a means to serve. Earlier attitude was different. What was the attitude and the approach? How to get more. As I said, when Swamiji said in the morning today, that when somebody comes before me, he was talking about Pujya Swamiji, that when somebody comes before him, Swamiji would think how to help him. And some may think how to make use of him, how to exploit, or how to be helpful. But now for a karma yogi, what is the understanding and what is the attitude? Karma yogi means the change in attitude. Change in the way the mind is thinking. Because we now need to transform the mind. We now need to bring about a change in our personality, in our ways of thinking. So far I was just a small individual, and now I am told that you are everything. So now my mind has to include everyone. And I have to start performing from the platform of what? Richness. And in doing that, slowly but steadily, what will happen? My fullness will manifest. Richness will manifest. When I help, automatically I'll feel good. the joy will come. Today, I have to work for happiness. I have to do many things for that. Maneuver and manipulate and so many things. But then, when I help, when I share, when I give and not demand, not grab, take each and every opportunity to help, to share, to give. This we have to do. Unless we do it, we will not understand the meaning of these words. And these are the words of Shastra. One has to do it. That is why Lord Krishna insisted upon Karma Yoga. Arjuna in Gita, up until the last chapter, he was not clear about it. Until 18th chapter, he was not ready, he was not that clear. So Bhagavan had to talk about this again and again, again and again, again and again. He said that this entire creation has been giving to you, Arjuna. Ishvara has been serving you. There is a scheme in this creation whereby everybody is given. We have all come into this creation where everything was just kept ready for us. And now it is my turn to give. It is I've received the favors, and now I return the favor. We have to do this. Only then and then the mind will change. The likes and dislikes and selfishness and narrow-mindedness, always mine, what about me, what about me? We are all the time insecure, all the time calculative. But if we keep this in mind, always come back to this, I am full, I am Brahman, I am everything. And then we perform. So, Karma Yoga is an excellent means to transform ourselves. That is part of the Uddhara, part of the uplifting ourselves. Unless we change these words, this Tattvamasi, etc., will just remain words. Hands-on we have to do. Mere writing a check is also not. We have to do. And when you do, when you really help, then you come to know, and that time if you are monitoring your mind, then you will come to know that it's not that easy. Every time your ego murmurs, why should I do? Why should I? Let him do. Why every time I am being exploited? So many things mind will complain. Mind will have many problems. But all that shows that we have a long, long way to go. Long way to go. Swamiji beautifully says, that even in the morning when I get up and take a cup of tea, in that cup of tea, the entire creation has worked. For that, there is milk there is tea there, then I use the kettle or the gas or whatever. But for the tea, leaves to be there, so many things have worked upon it. Sun and moon and water and rain and this and that, laborers and so many things. Then, as a result of their contribution, today, every morning, not to mention the other cups of coffee, tea and coffee I take during the day, just one cup, without that we cannot proceed further. First we must have that. First cup of coffee, bad tea. Right from there, we are utilizing. We are taking the favors of the entire creation, not just one thing. The entire nature and human beings and so many. We can't even think of that. Then we go in car. In how that car has come about. Our Lexus. How many people have worked factory, and then so many things are required in that car. It's being manufactured in different places. And oh my goodness, I cannot even think of all this. So, let me tell you, we are constantly being favored by the entire creation. Constantly. that we are talking about this. We are talking, the things are ready, material is ready. Somebody has taught us, somebody has written this. Rishis have worked upon this. Teachers have worked upon this. So constantly we are indebted. We are indebted. And now, I am also in a position to give. So I give wholeheartedly, without holding back anything. It is then that I will understand. It is then that I will come to know what are the problems in the mind. That ego is not ready to go. I and mine are not ready to go. Every time they says, live it, this much you can live. And then we have problems, insults and honor and dishonor and everything. So many things. All these holds us back. Bhagavan says, no. I am running. There is a wheel of cosmos running in the creation. You also better join. So far you didn't join. But now you join. With the awareness that I have taken, I am giving back. This is Karma Yoga. By doing this, what happens? Slowly, the impurities in the mind, selfishness, likes and dislikes. Why? Because I don't do because I like, but because I have to do. Every situation demands a proper response from me. Every situation. Every moment there are occasions which demand that I must behave in a certain way. I must respond in a certain way. But if I am not aware about all this, I will do what I like. So now the shift is not what I like, but what I'm supposed to do. In this manner, when we live a life in this manner, our own instrument is getting purer and purer and lighter and lighter. All the likes and dislikes, insistences, they all drop off. They drop off. Plus, Karma Yoga has another aspect too, which is that this is while karma has two things. One is while you perform the action, that time also what is your attitude you monitor. You have to change. Karma Yoga means change in attitude. That is while performing karma. But karma has another aspect also. And what is that? Karma brings result. With each action there is a result. And when the result comes, again, I have to monitor my mind. When the result comes, I may like it, I may not like it. Either I jump with joy or sink down. Either elation or depression. Depression is very common nowadays. Either elation or depression. Again, why? Because mind is not ready. Why things didn't happen the way I wanted it. I'm not able to handle it. When things don't go the way I want it, I'm not able to handle. Then I blame everyone. We blame Ishvara also. There is nothing but unfairness in life. Ishvara is totally unjust. My destiny is only like that. Everybody we then start blaming. Why? Because I had an estimate about the result and it didn't happen that way. So mind now starts reacting. Mind immediately starts reacting. Bhagavan says no. Siddhya siddhyo, whether it is siddhi or asiddhi, remains sama. Samatvam yoga uchyate. Again, Bhagavan says samatvam yoga uchyate. With respect to each and every result, you maintain the equipoise of the mind. Mind takes it as prasada. When prasada comes from the temple, we offer something and we are given back the prasada. What is our attitude towards prasada? It has come from Ishvara. We don't look at what it is, whether tasty, whether I like it or not. But that it has come from Him. And it is purifying me. Similarly, when situations brings, karma brings result, which is results are unfolding every moment. And a karma yogi, what attitude should he have towards all these results? Fine. It cannot be better. Whatever Ishvara has decided is fine for me. Why? Again, why? Go back to the reality of the self. What is that? What is that? Atma is full. I am Brahman. I am everything. We can't forget that now. Having once heard that, our life now revolves around that. And we have to make it a reality. We have to assimilate that fact. So how is this result going to affect me? Even if it is not in keeping with my expectations, how will it affect? I am full. I am everything. It doesn't touch me. That will be knowledge. That will be knowledge. Lord Krishna shows that. In the face of any kind of situation, He was always in command. In command. Lord Rama is asked, he was of course Bhagavan, but he came to teach us all this. Nityam cha samachittatvam. Ishta nishtopa pattishu. In situations which are favorable or unfavorable. What is up in the sleeves of the future, we don't know. Our estimates can go wrong. We were very sure that this is going to be the result. I have worked very hard, looked at everything. Each and everything was planned. So the result is bound to be this. But it may be altogether different. And then watch your mind. And then see. The mind goes haywire. Cannot handle. And then one just sinks. This is not a karma yogi, much less a man of knowledge. So, without karma yoga means sustain for a long period of time. Live this life wherever you are. In whichever roles you have to play. Grow in them. And let your mind grow and blossom. Now you are out to serve. Be ready for it. It is my privilege to serve. I am given this privilege by Ishvara. Let me do it happily. And Bhagavan says you have taken from so many sources, from parents, from teachers, from society, from animals, from devatas, what not. Now give back to each and everything, each and every element, by a concerted life of serving. Thereby, you are not, don't do this with a patronizing attitude. I am serving you. No, not that. But I got this opportunity. All this has to be done silently. Don't proclaim, I'm out to serve. No, silently. What will happen, People will like you better. They may exploit you also. That's okay. All the work will be thrown at you. You take care of this. And they will walk away. Quite possible. But that is the testing time. We can draw a line to some extent because we also have to grow. Little by little we build our strength. But we do. We have to, there is no option. Let me tell you, no option. If Tattvamasi has to work, this has to be done. If I am Brahman and I want to own up this knowledge, no other way. No other way. Just by sitting in the room and going away to a forest, if I will do dhyanam, aham brahmasmi, soham, nothing is going to work. Mind will say, mind will have problems. Will come back on the next day. Not easy. Not easy. Because so far, the understanding was that I am this limited person. And now, you are given altogether a different perception. You have to grow to that. You have to grow to that. And that is a big project. That is a big project. It may take years also. Bhagavan says in Gita, Aneka janma samsiddha tato yati param gatim. Aneka janma. In every janma, that is why. In one life, that may not happen. Who knows? We have already had many lives like this, and so we are able to understand all this easily. But if we keep on doing this uddhara every moment, then it will be easy. Then it will be easy. Otherwise, no, this life is difficult. All this is just speaking. Nobody can do this. Then there will be no progress. We have to do it. And receive the while performing as well as while receiving the results. At both the times, join. Join with what? When I am performing, that time also I remain joined. I am serving. I am given this opportunity. Let me serve with all my capacities, without shirking my responsibility. Not what I like, but what is my duty. That is why Arjuna said that since now I don't want any kingdom, I am no more interested in kingdom. And I don't want this, whatever you can give it to them. So I will withdraw. Bhagavan said, wait a minute. Just because you don't want it now, what about your talent? What about your duty as a warrior? You are a kshatriya. Just because you don't want it, that means I was ready to fight only if I wanted the kingdom. Now since I don't want it, I will not do. That is utter selfishness. You are a kshatriya whose dharma, whose duty is to protect, to defend the dharma, righteousness. This war is not a family affair. It is a cosmic thing. And respond. Respond in that. Even if you don't want, don't become a king. But fight for dharma. That would be the right attitude. Tasmad asakta san karyam karma samachara. Bhagavan says, remain asakta. If you don't want, don't take it. But do it and then distribute it. You are given the talent, you have the capacity, you are a leader. Leader cannot behave in any manner. Everybody is looking up to you. So, just because I don't want, that doesn't mean I can just walk away. I'm not going to eat, so I will not. Supposing the mother says, I have Ekadashi today, so I will not cook. But what about others? You may not eat. You may do Ekadashi. But then family is there, children are there, spouse is there. Cannot say like this, I'll walk away. So, one has to think. One has to think. And every moment, there is Shreyas and Preyas before me. What should I do? Which course of action? One has to think and always exercise that. How will my action benefit others? Choose that. What should be the criteria? That how my actions And whatever I decide, how are they going to help others? Choose that. That will be a karma yogi, and that will bring you closer and closer and closer to reality. The more you do this, the more you are closer to that reality. And automatically you will find the happiness. We forget this important fact that more you give, the more you get. When you see smile on others' face, automatically you are happy. When the mother feeds the children, she is happy. No mother becomes unhappy by feeding them. Oh, they ate away everything? They do that. Children and husband then finish up everything. For forgetting that she still has to eat. But they liked it very much. Very nice dosas today. Finished everything. But she'll be happy. Oh, what did you do? How many you ate? No. She's smiling, looking at them, enjoying. So by giving, you get. Happiness is otherwise we don't get it with all our money, with all our luxuries. Even in a big mansion, AC and everything, still we are unhappy. Still depressed. But by this we are happy. So somewhere we have forgotten how to live. So live this life. This is part of uplifting. This is part of uplifting. Again, here, today we have run out of time, but again I wanted to discuss. Arjuna is listening to all this, and still he said that in spite of knowing all this, sometimes the mind is so powerful. Mind has sometimes certain he says, not for himself, he was a very sattvic person, but he says that still, knowing all this, sometimes mind just revolts. Mind just doesn't listen. What about that? He says, he's asking a very important question. This is all fine. But he says, he asks, Atakena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha. He says, what is it in a human being which propels him against his wishes to do an unbecoming action? Papam charati purushaha. He doesn't want it, but still he is forced to do. Who is forcing him? From within. Atakena prayuktoyam. Papam charati anichannapi vachinaya. He doesn't want to do it. Against his wishes, he just does a wrong thing. Goes against dharma. What is it? So you know all this, but sometimes there are certain tendencies in the mind. We don't know how we have gathered them, but they are there. Let us be honest with them. From the past lives, some samskaras, some vasanas are there, which have become so strong that it is difficult to handle them, difficult to remove them. That is exactly what Arjuna is asking. And there is a famous statement from, it is attributed to Duryodhana. You must be knowing. Duryodhana says, because all of them have learned from the same teachers, both of them, Pandavas and Kauravas. But things didn't work with Duryodhana. And he says, Janami dharmam, nacha me pravrittihi. He says, I know what is dharma. Dharma I also know, but I cannot follow dharma. Janami adharmam. He says, I know what is adharma. What is wrong, that also I know. Nacha me niyuktos. I cannot, nacha me janami dharmam, nacha me pravruttah, janami adharmam, nacha me nivruttah. I cannot refrain from it. I know what is wrong. Honesty is the best policy I know. I can write essay on that. But when it comes to business, dishonesty. This is an example, just an example. I cannot refrain. Kenapi devena niyuktos. There is someone within which makes me do that. There is no one within your own untrained mind. Your own untrained. You have not paid attention to that and always been, validating whatever the mind. Because self-discipline is required. We have not done this uddhara. Uplifting has never taken place. We have become spoiled, spoiled child. There is a child within. We have never paid attention. There is a child within, even if we are grown up. We have to take care of the child. Otherwise, sometimes it becomes very, very embarrassing. The child makes us behave in a certain way. So he is asking. Bhagavan says, yes, you are right. You are right. Who? Because he asked, who is this? So Bhagavan said, Kama esha krodha esha. Rajo guna samudbhavaha. Mahashano mahapapma. Vidyena miha vairinam. Bhagavan is telling this to sadhakas. Duryodhana may be an extreme case. He is incorrigible case. Okay. But what about sadhakas? In sadhakas' life, those who are thinking people, living a life of dharma, for them also, sometimes we are controlled by passion, controlled by anger, controlled by arrogance, controlled by greed, violence. And they rule the roost, as they say. And I am helpless. Why like this? Bhagavan said we have to pay attention. All this one has to work upon. Prakriti means Svabhava has to undergo a change. Without that, nothing will work. I cannot remain as I am and have knowledge. Not possible. Each and every T and I, T has to be crossed in language. When you write T, it has to be crossed and I has to be dotted. You have to do it. Similarly, we have to become chaste. We have to become pure. And so, deal with this. Don't condemn. If these tendencies are there, don't condemn yourself. Here, of course, it doesn't apply to anyone. But one must know all this. Kamaha, Krodhaha, Rajo Guna Samud. This is born from Rajas. 3 gunas are there. Some may have sattva more, backed by rajas and tamas. Some may have rajas more, backed by sattva and tamas, or tamas and sattva. Some may have tamas more, backed by sattva or rajas or tamas. Accordingly, our dispositions are. And don't think that gunas are I have not paid attention to my mind. That is why they are there. But today, I consciously work with myself. So Bhagavan, he says that Karma Yogi is a sannyasi as well as a yogi. In the 6th chapter itself, he eulogizes and extols Karma Yogi as a sannyasi as well as a yogi. Why? Because he consciously works with himself. Even when he is in the life, he is a sannyasi. Sannyasi in life. Not wearing the robes of sannyas, of orange clothes. Working in life, and still he is a sannyasi. Why? Because the element of tyaga is coming in his life. When you are serving, which element has to be there? Of sannyasa, tyaga. Every time I give up, let go. Okay, you are right. Otherwise, I am only right. Our ego, even discussion also, I have to be right. I cannot stand others being right and overpowered by them. That much large-heartedness also we cannot command sometimes. So, sannyasa, while working, when you are in life, become a sannyasi. That is hard. Going away is easy. Going away and doing nothing is easy. But being in the midst of life and becoming a sannyasi. So, Karma Yogi is a sannyasi plus a yogi. Who is a yogi? Hatha Yogi. Hatha Yogi is always straight, doing pranayama. chitta vritti nirodha, no thought should come. Always very conscious and very alert. Similarly, in life, we become what? Karma yogi becomes what? A yogi. In which sense? Which hatha yoga? Swamini ji, we have to do hatha yoga? No. Wherever, whatever you are doing, be alert of what is going on here. Keep on monitoring your attitude. Remember, I am full, I am out to serve. Let me give, let me give, let me serve. Not grab, not grab. Let me share. Let me accommodate. So this yogi. So we work with all those tendencies. We will talk about this tomorrow. Otherwise, some corners, remain intact in our personality. We may grow, we may age also, but some corners, they just remain as they are, unattended. Kamaha, krodhaha, lobhaha. And Bhagavan says these are the gates of hell. You better get out of them. With that, no Shreyas is possible. So we'll just talk about this little tomorrow and then complete. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Is that
Do you want a paper?
Hari Om. This is Sahadev at the back. I will be displaying the arati here in the auditorium for those who don't go to the temple. Om.
Oh, today I exceeded the time.
It was natural flow.
Yeah, but we have to complete.
One more thing, Om. Also, there will be children's or youth program at 7:15 this evening here in the auditorium. Ask a question.
Will that be a children's presentation? Are they doing?